too late for makeup. And welcome everybody to the 12 o'clock show with Mayor Joe, back after a week off, and let me tell you, I'm completely refreshed. So we're going to start off introducing our great guest today. It's our Reynoldsburg Park and Recreation Coordinator, Kim Chapman. Kim, welcome.
Hi.
Are you happy to be here?
I am. Very
I
happy
can
to
tell
be here.
she's excited. Got a lot of things going on in Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
So first of all, tell me exactly, what exactly does a recreation coordinator do? And don't say we coordinate recreation.
Well, I wear a lot of hats actually. A lot of what I do is in support of our sports programs. So, if you've ever participated in a sports program or you know a kid who has, you've probably gotten an email from me. So a lot of the day-to-day logistics and program operation I handle, and along with creating new programs and nature stuff and. To do some fun stuff.
So it's those new programs that I want to talk about. Obviously, we have a great athletic program. We have soccer, and we have baseball and softball going on right now. But you've done a lot of things that are focusing on something that, for people who might not say have an interest in sports. So tell us about a couple of those popular things that you've done since you've been with us.
Yeah, sure. Nature Night is like my all-time favorite. We just spend some time out in the woods. It's a great experience for kids who don't get to be out in the woods very much or play outdoors. It's a camp out experience without the overnight. So we cook our food over a fire. There's a little bit of plant identification there. We use real tools and cut back some invasive species that we have out there, and then we start building with it. So that's always a really big hit. Tie-dye with our newest art instructor, Lydia, aka Cookie, was a great was a great program. Also our Smash Art, I got a big shout out to Straders on Broad Street. They donated all the smashable things for that. It was a great program. Misty Day, our resident art instructor, is always doing great things, and we've included jazz dancing more now for some tumbling and movement classes for our littles.
So there's always something fun, because I know everybody always goes right to soccer, basketballs, things like that. I know even they've expanded out into like esports video games and things of that nature, but those are some really cool things. Looking forward, what do you see trying to improve upon that? What are some other things that you're looking to do in the future?
Well, we recently expanded soccer to 3 and 4 year olds, and then all the way into high school. So that was a big expansion for us.
3 and 4 year olds playing soccer?
Uh-huh.
That sounds like fun.
I'm sure it's super cute.
Look, they're all running together.
Yeah. And we're expanding our adult programming. We've got a new adult Cornhole league going on at East Side this year, so we're really excited about that. And we started a program with our horticulturalist, Ryan Lauber. He's doing planters, or container design. So you'll get all of the season appropriate plants. He'll show you how to plant them, the filler, spiller, and thriller. So you learn all about that, and you walk away with a great planter. Some things that we have coming up for the second half of the year is the Tomato, which is like a combination of tomato and tour. Shout out to Jim Daphner who came out with that one, Tomato. So essentially it's just you get a booklet and you go to a bunch of events and programs, you get stamps, and then you bring it back and we'll get you a prize. So that's coming up. We've got a STEM series coming up, family camp out, and float trip, all planned for the second half of the year.
Well, you certainly cut out pretty much a third of what I'm going to say later on in the show, so that's
okay.
good. But a couple of dates.
No problem.
But there's a lot of fun things that are going on. We've done the scavenger hunts too.
Yes.
So I think that's a cool thing to kind of mention as well. Shamrock or four-leaf clover hunts, whichever everyone out there is preferring.
Like.
Yeah, that's all the way across. Now, seeing as how you've been here for a little while, you've seen kind of like a lot of the things that we do. What's your favorite city event? What's the one that you're like, even if I'm not having to be here to work it, what's the one event that you think is just the most fun?
Oh gosh, that's hard.
Other than the show.
The Tomato Festival is always a good time.
Okay.
And I like Pioneer Day because I get to dress up.
Jessica, my assistant, likes Pioneer Day too. She loves Pioneer Day, so she'll be in costume this year. It's we moved it to the fall, so that way it's a little bit more cool, so it's not in the hot weather. So it's gonna be good times.
But I love the Spooky Pitch and seeing all of those dogs and people dressed up and character with their dogs, and it's super fun.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. Well, I'd love for you to stick around for a little bit. We're going to talk a lot about what's going on, assuming there are no questions. Are there any questions so far?
No, that's fine.
All right, so you never know. There may be some as we kind of move through this. This past Saturday night, or actually Saturday really was just a busy day in general. You had a number of city events. You had Breakfast with the Easter Bunny.
Yeah.
Did you have breakfast with the Easter Bunny?
I did, actually. I got to hang out with the Easter Bunny quite a bit that morning.
Yep, so you had breakfast with the Easter Bunny. Then there was an Easter egg hunt right after that. And then in the end of the night was actually a really wonderful event at Reynoldsburg United Methodist Church in partnership with the city, Reynoldsburg Police Department, Toro Township Fire Department, and set up really by kind of a conversation that my assistant Jessica had about doing some things for the Autism Awareness, Central Ohio for Autism Awareness Society. And it was a Guns N' Hoses basketball game. And it was much higher quality basketball than what you saw later that night, in the Final Four, I'm sure. Or it raised a lot of money for charity. It's about $1,200, $1,275 for the Central Ohio Autism Awareness Society to actually bring about some opportunities and things to help families and children with autism that are out there. There were a lot of interesting facts that we were talking about while we were there. Pastor John from RUMCA, shout out to him for helping with the scoreboard and the music selection as we were kind of going through. But it was a lot of fun. It's the first of what we hope is a multi-year event. The police department did win. Just throwing that out there for anybody from Turo. Police department did win on that one, but you saw a lot of great athletic plays, and then you saw a lot of plays that you're like, I'm glad that you're a firefighter or a police officer, or in one case, our city attorney was out there as well. So it was a great thing all the way across. So we appreciate that. Hopefully next time around we can continue to build upon that crowd and bring some people out. We are hiring right now. We are actually bringing in hiring for seasonal because in theory it's actually going to get warm out eventually in Central Ohio.
That's what they say.
But mowing the lawn, some ball field maintenance, horticultural crew, facilities maintenance, things like that. If you're interested in working for the City of Reynoldsburg and all the excitement, please go ahead and check out the webpage under the employment section. You'll get an idea of what that's all about. Want to bring you up to date on a couple of projects kind of going through the city. The first one is the sidewalk at the by the five-way intersection from Palmer Road to the five-way on Graham, right by the Livingston House. You're going to start to see some movement on that probably about the middle of summer. So what we're going to try and do is we're working with Franklin County engineers because they're going to do the pedestrian part on the bridge so pedestrians can cross the bridge. But we're going to time that so while we're building our trail all the way throughout there, then it'll just connect right to that bridge and we'll get it open to make sure that people have access. So if you go to some of our events like our Artist and Makers Market or the concerts on the lawn, and you need some extra parking space, maybe you want to park at RUMC or maybe you want to park in the business complex on the other side of things, it just allows for a little bit more access. But that's brought to you by the America Recovers Act. That'll probably be the first thing that everybody really starts to see. A couple of other things are the Main Street traffic light sync and things like that, but I'll talk about Main Street a little bit later. We also have our street program. So just to kind of give you an idea of how the street program works, and again, really exciting stuff that everybody loves, we basically have a list of streets that are in need of attention. It's a very long list, but we've identified kind of like the worst of the worst or the ones that need the most attention. So we put those out to bid, so that way all the construction companies in Central Ohio are taking a look at that. We're going to find out what everyone bid on those projects this Friday. And what we do is basically we take about how much we have to spend on streets, and then we figure out what we think we're going to spend, and then these companies will tell us what it will actually cost. Sometimes it's lower than what we expect, sometimes it's a little bit higher than what we expect. But once we have that, we're going to start identifying and putting together a puzzle piece to identify some of the roads getting taken care of. So a couple of the roads that I think will get taken care of this year, Canada and Cuthbert Court, those were two courts that actually were left off the list last year. They just missed the cut. Taylor Road Southwest, so everything from the intersection at 256 all the way past Slate Ridge you'll have the opportunity there to get that repaired, as well as a number of other roads. And again, every year we kind of take a chunk and work on them, and then whatever we don't get this year, we move to the next year and beyond. So we spent about $6.1 million in roads last year, so we're probably going to be pretty close to that. It might be a little bit different because apparently oil prices have gone up. It's been in the news if you haven't seen. So that's kind of impacting some of the cost of the materials we are, but we're waiting to see that. This is an open process, so if you're interested in seeing what it looks like, come on out to City Hall. It's Friday at 2 o'clock. Usually it's always a big show, ends with a bang, that type of thing. So come on out and take a look at that. It's always a lot of interesting things because you figure out what's going on. As far as Main Street itself, you might have noticed that Main Street has kind of shifted a little bit in terms of construction. They're starting at the corner of Jackson and Main Street now, where they're getting ready to put in a retaining wall, and then it's starting to get ready to expand those sidewalks. So that's going to be something that's there. You may have also seen at Memorial Plaza at the corner of Lancaster and Main, they have actually put in the curb cut. I saw that as I drove in this morning. They actually have the brand new curb that's going to be in there, so you can kind of get an idea of how different it's going to be when you're turning and making a right onto Main Street from Lancaster. So that part is processing. So now we're actually starting to see like real movement. Before, you just kind of look at it and like, is anything changing? But now you're going to start to see a lot of that stuff move forward. So it's going to be a couple of weeks while they're finishing up in that intersection. Then you'll start to see the power lines go down, and then the rest of that construction will then move down. Obviously starting at Jackson on the south side of Main Street, and then it'll kind of get to the corner of Davidson, and then they'll pick up on the other side and move down the other way. So that's going on. We're still trying to tweak traffic lights and get all that synced as best as we can. It's not the easiest thing in the world because we can't shut down Jackson because we still have the school there. And there's a lot of intricacies with it, but hopefully one day, once not too far in the future, we'll have all that taken care of. Any questions on Main Street?
No.
Can't imagine that. We also have our Adopted Road program that's going to be kicking off. So you may see certain organizations out there like the Masons or coming out and actually cleaning up specific areas. We're hoping to kick that off on our Community Cleanup Day. So this year our Community Cleanup Day is on April 23rd. We're really looking forward to it. So it's got a lot of the same things. You'll start seeing this plastered all over social media in the next couple of days. Document shredding is back, home goods and building materials, bulk disposal, pill disposal, getting rid of flags respectfully, some electronic disposal. All of those things will be back in, kind of very similar to what we did in the fall. But this is going to be kind of, April is our Earth Day month, basically. So we're going to try and expand that out there. So we hope to see you again on the 23rd. But if you or your organization would be interested in adopting a road, there are still a number of them left. So hopefully you'll take part in that. You clean one of those areas of roads 5 times a year, and you'll get a sign that says this road is cleaned by. In this case, the Masons will have one along with a couple of the other groups out there. So looking forward to hearing that. We also have some news on the flood grant information. As I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, the input time for public comment on flooding in Reynoldsburg is ending on April 8th. So you only have a couple of more days left. But the comments that we've gotten so far, from what we've been told, are the most comments that they've ever received all the way across for any kind of concerns with flooding. So we do appreciate all the community members out there that have provided that information to help kind of narrow down where they should be focusing. Once that public commentary period is over, then we'll start hearing about when we actually will get the next step in the process going. We also have some really cool news about it's from the U.S. Geological Service. They're going to be working with us to provide kind of an early warning system. So we're going to take a trip probably towards the end of the month. We're going to actually look at a couple of sites where we put a monitoring station on Blacklick Creek. And when it gets to a certain level, they'll be able to send out text messages and email blasts to everybody saying, you know, there's a potential for flooding. You might have X amount of minutes to go ahead and take care of it. So for those people that live in those areas that are flood prone, maybe this would be able to give you an opportunity to find out a little bit more ahead of time. So if there's something in your basement that you feel that you have to get out of there just in case, this will provide a little bit of an early warning system. So we're moving forward with that. So hopefully you'll see that on council's agenda probably sometime in May once we figure out exactly where we want to put the device. So hopefully that'll help provide a little bit of warning out there. We also have some good news about CODA. CODA, as you know, is our Central Ohio Transit Authority, and this is the CODA bus thing. And the City of Reynoldsburg, Bexley, Whitehall, and the City of Columbus have actually been awarded what they call the BRT, or Bus Rapid Transit Line. So basically what this is this is going to be a dedicated transit opportunity for those people that either live and work anywhere on Main Street, to have the opportunity to hop on this bus and get anywhere from as far out as Etna Township, basically, and our furthest eastern borders for now, at Etna Township, by where across from the Department of Agriculture, hopefully, and they'll be able to provide transportation from that far into the city or from into the city out there. And the reason why this is an important thing is because one of the biggest obstacles for employers to find the workers that they need for their business is transportation. And transportation tends to be an expensive item, especially with gas prices and things like that. So this rapid transit line is actually going to go ahead and partner with all of these other cities, and we're actually going to get this dedicated lane that's going to come through Reynoldsburg to take care of that, to help provide opportunities for people to get jobs. We are in step 5 of about a 500-step process, so we are going to be providing other information. We'll have plenty of public meetings and all of that as we kind of move through and we start to identify things. But public transportation is actually a huge thing, and CODA is working very hard to make it more user-friendly, so people have the opportunity to find a way to get to those jobs. For the City of Reynoldsburg, it's an opportunity to get people who might live in Reynoldsburg to have an opportunity, if they need to get transportation out to those distribution centers in Etna Township. Or if you happen to work downtown, then this is an opportunity for you to get downtown in a lot less time all the way across. So we're really excited about that. So keep your eyes open for some of the public meetings that we're going to have on that. As we talk about that, we also have some development information. Mentioned last time that we are talking with the Alliance Group for the Kmart Center, so things are progressing on there. We know what they're kind of getting an idea to build. We don't have the pretty pictures yet, but we know that there's going to be a convention space and office space and retail and a restaurant is what we're hoping for. So that hopefully is going to start those construction policies next year. Now, this is a huge site. I don't know, have you been out to the former Kmart location at all?
Yes, I have.
All right. So
when it was Kmart.
Yeah. So it's a really big area.
Yeah.
So they have to do a lot of infrastructure work. So this is the boring stuff. So they got to go in and they got to make sure that they have enough water and enough sewer and all of that for what they're planning on building there. So you may see some of that work being done later this year, but the major construction of that site is going to begin in the spring of next year. And we're really excited. As soon as I have pictures of what the outside is going to look like, believe me, you're going to see them right here live on the 12 o'clock show with Mayor Joe. So that's going to be pretty cool. We also have some news on the building that's going to go across from the cemetery on Main Street. This is the medical facility. It's going to be about 3 stories, and it's going to be about 60,000 square feet, and it's going to provide a lot of medical jobs to the City of Reynoldsburg. It's a very huge thing. We're going to have some news on who that medical provider is in the not too distant future, but we're really excited about it. It's going to be one of the biggest job centers that Reynoldsburg has had in quite some time. So we're really excited about that. Plus, it's going to make that area look nice. You're going to see some sidewalks that are going to be on there, so you can walk from Carlisle to Hanson and all of that. And then that's going to be on the same site with the Center Ice Foundation. So that's going to be one of those opportunities where between the two of them, they're going to work together. So that is, again, another massive project. And while it's not going to be the medical facility, it is going to provide a lot of opportunities for residents to participate in ice skating, or as I like to call it, falling down on ice, and as well as some of the other things going on out there. So we'll have that moving forward. We also have some news on Bryce Park. We are still working through it. I know this is a shock to you, but apparently lawyers take their time with things. So Columbus and the City of Reynoldsburg are working to finalize their deals on that. Hopefully, probably in the next couple of months, but we still feel that we're going to be able to start getting this project done. This is the park that is right kind of catty corner to where the current library is.
Okay, yeah.
And it's going to be the area. Right now, it's primarily a stormwater retention, but we're actually going to make it pretty. And there's going to be park trails and a gazebo. So if you go to the new library when it's built, you can walk across the street and sit out in the park, read a book, or just relax in the sunshine. So it'll be one of the only parks really on that western border. So we're very excited about that one. Also have some news about Sheetz. If you drive on Broad Street on the Reynoldsburg side, you'll see that they are moving really fast on Sheetz. So that building is being constructed. It's probably not going to be too much longer before we're going to talk about when it's going to have a grand opening. For those of you that watch council meetings, and if you saw our last one and you finally woke up from it, you have the opportunity to listen to Sheetz and what they're talking about. We know that the location on Taylor and Main at Shepherd's Mobile Home Park, that's where they were looking. They removed their application from that process before the end of last year, and they have not resubmitted. They did present to council, and they were kind of just providing an update on some of the services that they hope to provide for some of the residents in that area that may be displaced if Sheetz ends up going there. But nothing has been submitted yet, so they haven't. There's a very long process. It has to go to city council, then it'll have to go to planning commission, and then it'll come back to city council. And at every step of the way, the public is encouraged to comment either for or against any particular development. This is not something the city owns. However, the city does have the obligation to determine the zoning for that area, because that area is not zoned for a gas station. So if the gas station were to go there, council would have to approve it. So we encourage residents, if you're interested in commenting one way or another when those meetings happen, if they do, to please comment at that time. There is another location that they are looking at putting in, and this will be at the corner of Main Street and Bryce Road. That will be on the Planning Commission for the first Thursday in May, so you have about a month to go for that one. Again, the same thing, it would have to go through council ultimately to rezone, because it is not zoned for a gas station in that location. So public comments will be taken at that meeting, as well as any future meetings out there. So keep that in mind as far as sheets. I know a lot of people are asking, hey, what's going on with that? Some because they want to maybe have cheap gas, others want cheese sticks, others just have other opinions of sheets all the way together. So just want to provide updates on development for everybody. I've got a couple of great events coming up, and some of them I don't even have to mention anymore because you were nice enough to mention a lot of them. We have the Reynoldsburg Lady Raiders softball team is doing their cash drop this weekend, so I'm hopeful. I've not looked at the weather, but I'm hopeful that it is sunny and bright out for all of them. However, if it is raining, you might get more from a sympathy, oh, they're standing out in the rain, let's give them a little extra money. But they have a lot of plans out there to improve their softball fields and the facilities and things like that, so this is a big fundraiser for them. It's kind of a tradition in Reynoldsburg. A lot of our sports programs go out there. So again, make sure you have a couple extra bucks in your pocket on Saturday at all the major intersections to support our Lady Raider softball team. We also have our spring container design. Again, you mentioned that earlier, and that's April 19th at our senior center. So we're looking forward to seeing that. The Friday Nature Night, which is, again, one of your favorites, is on April 22nd at Spangler.
Yep, and that's a family edition, so we don't always invite parents. In fact, we kick them out. But now we are inviting you in, so you get to see what we do. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So I think that's a great idea, and my favorite part is that you don't have to stay overnight. No. That's not my style. But I think for a lot of people, that's still going to be a lot of fun.
Although I do tell the newbies, come on, I'll show you where you're staying tonight. And they're looking around like,
but I didn't bring a sleeping bag. Yeah, So it's a lot of fun.
But then all our regulars are like, it's okay. She's just kidding.
So if I wanted to do that, where do I go? What do I do? Do I just call you and say, hey, put me down for on a pen and paper, or do I have to do something else?
Well, you can do a paper registration form, and those are located here at City Hall, or you can create an account if you haven't already on RecDesk. That's our new registration system. Fill out an account, and then you just select which programs you want to participate in.
See, easy technology.
Easy.
And even for our website, which is being reworked as we speak, and we hope to have this thing together sometime in late June, maybe July. We'll give ourselves a little headway on that one, but I'm hoping early June, but it's technology, you never know. But it's a great opportunity there. We also have Crafting with Cookie at the Senior Center on April 26th. Do you know what you're crafting with Cookie that day?
They're going to be wind chimes.
Wind chimes, so you can annoy your neighbors with wind chimes. This is a great opportunity.
Yeah, they're really cute. And it's open to all ages too, so it's not just for the kids. If you're looking for something fun to put on your porch, this is a good class for you. Yeah,
I think that's great. Again, those are just some of those new things that we're doing here, and we appreciate it. Now, last night we had our Tomato Festival meeting, volunteer meeting, and I'm sure dozens of people showed up for that, but it's the first Tuesday of the month at 7 o'clock. But last night was a little bit different. Last night we actually announced who it is that's actually going to be performing on 2 of our nights at the Tomato Festival. So you're going to start seeing this on social media pop up. So on Friday night, I'm going to put Jennifer on the spot. Jennifer, on Friday night, who's performing?
Morris Day and the Time.
Morris Day and the Time is going to be there Friday night, so I've heard nothing but great things. That's going to be a heck of a show. So again, Morris Day and the Time is going to be there on Friday night. The show time probably around 7-ish, 8-ish, 8:30. All right, so we have plenty of time there for that Tomato Festival kickoff, and believe it or not, it will be here before we know it. So we are hard at work at that. And then Saturday night is a little bit different. Saturday night, we're actually going with Plain White Tees. Grammy Award-winning band Plain White Tees will be here. It's going to be a different, we're trying to figure out, a lot of different groups that, hit a lot of different markets in our community. So Plain White Tees is going to be there. We are still working on Thursday. We still have to, dot the I's and cross the T's on some things. But hopefully we'll be able to announce that in the not too distant future. But again, Friday night, Morris Day and the Time. Saturday night, Plain White Tees. and those are going to be our big bands for the Tomato Festival. Again, guaranteed to have a lot of fun at that event, so we hope to see you out there. With that, are there any questions, comments, anything out there?
Not today.
Come on, people, ask me questions. All right. Anything else you want to add?
Well, I was going to say I'm helping with the Kids Zone area for the Tomato Festival, and we got a lot of fun groups that are going to be coming out. So you want to check it out. Bring your kids in. Probably be able to leave with some cool stuff that they made themselves. And then also for community cleanup, we're doing a take-apart lab. So you'll get real things and real tools to take apart. So if you've got electronic, like a VCR that you're not using anymore, feel free to drop by. We'll use it in that program.
VCR is that thing that's probably sitting next to your Blu-ray player that you haven't used in a decade. So just in case you... Yeah. Oh, no, we have some questions?
Yep.
Go for it.
And you might be able to answer this one. It's asking if we're going to have music in the cul-de-sac this year, which I know the answer to, but do we know when we're announcing?
So we have our lineup. We're still working on figuring out which cul-de-sacs. But yes, it is coming, and I've seen the giveaway. It's going to be great.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I think one of the things we have to look at is we don't want to have a music on the cul-de-sac at the same time we're repaving a court. Just throwing that out there. So that might be part of the thing that might be for a couple of those different things. Any other questions?
Well, I guess the video cut out on someone's feed. They'd like you to re-announce who's performing on Saturday.
Saturday night, live here. Again, it's going to be Plain White Tees. Plain White Tees, Grammy Award-winning band from maybe the late 90s, early 2000s. So it's going to be an opportunity for them to come out. They're going to put on a great show. Hopefully they will actually probably not be wearing plain white tees, but you never know. At least one of them will. So again, we're looking forward to that. It's going to be good.
That's it.
As always, if you have any questions, either now or later, feel free and send them in. We're happy to answer any questions about whether it's Parks and Rec, either the athletic side or the other entertainment and artistic side of things. If you're interested in community commissions, if you want to know about development, you want to know when your street's going to be done, or those always favorite questions about Main Street in Lancaster. We are working for that as best as we can. So next week, we're going to kind of continue on in our Earth Week, or Earth Month, really. We're going to have our very own, Reynoldsburg's very own Arlie Owens is going to be joining us. He's part of the Ohio Recycling Coalition, has done a lot of work with getting everything green in Reynoldsburg, and so he's part of our Green Tomato team here at City Hall. So we're going to have him in and talk about how he's trying to engage people and work with people to get them more green. As you know, the city ended up winning a grant from SWACO that's going to allow us to put some better recyclable educational materials out in our parks. And just as important, actually some different containers here in City Hall itself, because if we're going to go ahead and ask the community to take part in these kind of sustainable issues, then you know what, we better be doing it here at the city as well.
That's right.
So we'll be looking forward to that, and thanks to SWACO for working with us on that grant. And once we have those receptacles in, we'll bring them out to you and show you online here. So with that, I do want everybody to remain safe. And if you shop at Kroger on Taylor in Maine or the Meijer on Broad Street, there's these wonderful things. They're called cart returns. All you got to do is you take your cart when you're done with it, and you put it in the cart return. It's just a wonderful thing. It's not a brand new invention, but a lot of people might not have noticed it. So again, shopping carts, please put those away. Outside of that, everyone, as always, please be safe, please be respectful, and understand that we are all here to make our community better, and enjoy that. So everybody else, have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you this next week. Bye.